Hello, everybody. If you can hear me loud and clear, let me know. Welcome to this week's episode of LaunchBoom Live. I've got some really fun stuff to go over with you guys today, but as we get started here, let me know that you can hear me coming in loud and clear. Go ahead and comment below, whether you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, or wherever, LinkedIn. Again, I can see all of those comments coming in, so give me a big old thumbs up if you can hear me. Comment, let me know that it's coming in loud and clear. Hey, how's it going? Pablo, Annabelle, Jessa, looking good, awesome. So I'm calling in from North Carolina. Let me know where you guys are. And I'm so excited. I got some really fun stuff to dig in with you guys today. So let's start going. I've got a couple announcements for you guys. So let's start jumping in. So first things first, our agenda. So we've got 6 really cool things we're going to be talking about today. So let's talk about what's going to be on our agenda for today. So first, of course, intro and announcements. I have some really great announcements for today, and also have some congratulations in order, specifically some for the LaunchBoom team and some for just members of the crowdfunded community. So really exciting. Second, I'm going to be digging into 2 of my favorite tools of all time. I bring them up more than anything else. I love them. If you're in LaunchBoom Academy, you've seen my presentations on these things. And so one is Maslow's hierarchy. The first one is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You'll find out what the next one is in a little bit. If you don't know what Maslow's hierarchy of needs is, you will. You'll get to know it very well. I think it's awesome. And I think you're going to get a lot out of understanding kind of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Next, we're going to be reviewing shirt sauna. So Jessa, I see you looking good. I'll be reviewing your page here. So really excited to dig into that. Next, I'm going to be talking about my second favorite tool, which is consumer-based brand equity. Now that didn't all fit here in this line. So I broke it down to what I usually call it the CBBE, or the CBBE pyramid. So it stands for consumer-based brand equity. You do not own your brand. So if you think like, who owns a brand, right? Do you? Nope, you don't. You're going to find out who does when I get into this section. Number 5, I'm going to be reviewing Zenger. So it's another awesome member of the crowdfunded community. I'm going to be reviewing their landing page, giving them some feedback. So Zenger is a really well-known brand in the crowdfunding space. They've had a bunch of super successful campaigns. I literally have one of their chargers around me somewhere, which is awesome. It's like the super tank, and it is absolutely a super tank. And number 6, a Q&A and giveaway. So what are we going to be giving away today? Well, stay tuned to the end to find out. And of course, with our Q&A, if you have questions that come up, you can always just comment. I will be able to pull those on screen. Just like this. Haha. Very cool. So see, pull it on screen, and so make sure you comment, and I'll be able to share that question with everybody, and I will have 10 minutes at the end here to get through this. So as you know, if you've been a part of all of this, of course, you know every 10 minutes we're going to be going over a different concept, and so this is how the next 60 minutes are going to be broken down. So make sure you stay tuned and dig into all this stuff. If you are watching right now, something that would be really supportive for the again, the crowdfunded community and all of that, and this show, is share this. So please share this with the world. If you know of anybody that's interested in learning more about crowdfunding or would benefit from this information, tag them, invite them to the crowdfunded community, share the YouTube link to this, and let's spread the word and really support as many entrepreneurs as we can out there. But let's dig in. I've got a couple more announcements here before we dig into Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So first off is we have a really cool webinar. It's not this Thursday. It's actually going to be next Thursday. I'm going to be posting a link here in chat. Give me a quick second here. Here's a link to, if you want to learn how to use influencers to drive sales, I'm going to be joined by Shelly Olson from Kickbooster. If you're familiar with Kickbooster, you should be. Everybody who does a crowdfunding campaign pretty much uses Kickbooster. And so we're going to be doing a really awesome webinar together. And so you can sign up. I posted a link there in Facebook and YouTube. If you can't find it, you can't see it, don't worry. If you're in the crowdfunded community, I'll be posting a link in the group group most likely tomorrow. So you'll be able to join then, or if you're subscribed to any of our email newsletters, then you will be receiving Mark's newsletter probably today or tomorrow. That also has a link to sign up for this great, awesome free webinar with Kickbooster. A lot of people ask us about how to use influencers, how do you approach them, how do you incentivize them to actually promote your product, and that is exactly what we're going to be going over in this really awesome webinar. So it's not this Thursday, it is next Thursday, I believe at 10 a.m. Pacific. It's either 10 or 11, but if you sign up, it'll tell you when it is. So and send you a notification to find out to make sure that you're there. So some other announcements that I have for you guys today is a huge shout out to Cleve over at Man Kitchen, the Pepper Cannon. If you watch the first episode of LaunchBoom Live, then it's like we're full circle here. He hopped on, we gave him some feedback on his crowdfunding campaign page and all that stuff. And look at him now. Freaking crushing it, Cleve. This is awesome. So over $1 million raised. Again, incredible work. Again, you've got an awesome product. You definitely earned it. And you worked, I know how hard you worked into this. I know the passion that you've put into your products. And that being said, I also have some of Cleve's other products laying around here that I've done some reviews for Tom's Finds. And let me tell you, they are awesome. So all of everything from Man Kitchen, the durability, all of that stuff, from the knife, which is my favorite, that is my go-to chef's knife now, is awesome. And the spatula, I literally used it to make burgers last night. So incredible products, really hardy, really well built, really well made, super awesome to see so much success. Another big shout out to Rocket e-bike. So this is the LaunchBoom team behind this, $1.2 million raised, which is awesome. So again, incredible work with the Rocket e-bike project. Again, that was a LaunchBoom project through and through, went through TestBoom, all of the above. Ton of success there. Definitely stay tuned. We will most likely be releasing a case study on this in the coming weeks. So really excited about that. So it is that time. Let's dig into one of my favorite tools ever. And so this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so what you're going to discover is this little pyramid here, this little triangle is going to lay over the other tool that I'll be showing you guys a little later. So let's dig into what is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And what is this kind of like, what is the idea behind this? And the idea is relatively simple, but it's funny because especially as an entrepreneur, as a product creator, sometimes we need to be reminded of just how things work, how the world works, all that other stuff. Especially as an engineer or as a marketer, it can be really easy to just get our sights focused on our product, right? Have a lot of tunnel vision focused on the features, all of the parts of our product that we like the most versus what actually means the most to our customers, or really getting to know our customers and understanding how this product lives within them. And that's going to be more consumer-based brand equity pyramid. So this is a really cool tool. It's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so what this basically shows is it helps you identify what needs your consumer has and how your product fulfills those needs. And the other thing that's really important to understand is your consumer, if they're focused on a lower need than your product is at, then they are not going to want, or they're not going to purchase your product. The important part is the need that you solve, right, also must match with where the customer is at. So let's walk through this here together. So at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy, again, it builds up on top of itself. You cannot, go up the pyramid without having the base first. And so we first start with physiological needs. So that's like air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and reproduction. So if you don't have that, you don't care about self-esteem and status and self-actualization. You don't, right? Because you're just thinking about, man, how am I going to get my next meal, right? How am I going to, how am I going to pay for rent? Right? So that's physiological needs, right? And so everybody has all of these needs, but depending on how well, like where you are in life, what your social status is and all the other stuff, right? Your economic status dictates kind of where you fall into this pyramid and what matters the most to you. So for example, for myself, right? I'm successful business owner, all that stuff. My physiological needs are met, right? So I'm not worrying about where am I going to get my next meal, right? I've got literally a bottle of water here that I can drink from at any time and have fresh, clean water, right? There are people in this world that don't have that. And so looking at what does your product solve? Where does this fit into the pyramid is important, and better understanding what needs are most important to your customer. So moving up, we now get into safety needs. That's personal security, employment, resources, health, property, right? That's like making sure that they're safe. Moving up, we then have love and belonging. This is friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection, sense of, right? That's like community, right? Feel like you belong to something. Moving up the pyramid, we now have esteem. So this is respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, freedom, right? That's like, your really nice watch, right? That's your car, things like that. Of course, a car has a safety need, but the difference behind getting a used Prius or a used, Toyota versus, I want a BMW M5 is two very different. We're focusing on two very different concepts here. And so understanding your consumer, right? What kind of choices are they making? What are they surrounding themselves with? What needs are they going and trying to solve right now? And then finally, of course, we have self-actualization. So the desire to become the most that one can be. A lot of this may be spiritual. This may be again, becoming, the best father, the best mother, what is the ultimate version of yourself? And so looking at your product, right? Where does this fit into the pyramid? So for example, if I took a product like Backblade, right? Is that a physiological need, right? Air, food, shelter, clothing, reproduction? No. Moving up, safety needs. Not really. It doesn't really make me more secure. Love and belonging. Okay, so maybe when it comes to intimacy, this is something important here, right? Is when it comes to having back hair, maybe somebody might be a little worried about love and belonging, right? Now, of course, we can evaluate everybody's beautiful, all of that. I'm not talking about this. I'm taking this from a marketing perspective here. To feel that esteem and that love and belonging, they may want this product. And so being able to understand that as a marketer and be able to communicate that is really important, right? We're not trying to say like, hey, this is going to help you get food, right? You're going to use Backblade to improve your love and belonging or esteem. Now, again, that's something to understand versus, right? Let's say we have a beautiful watch or something like that, right? That's not really going to help you with love and belonging. That's not really going to help with safety. That's really not going to help with physiological, right? That's maybe going to be like esteem, right? I want to be, might give you a little bit of sense of connection from like friends and stuff like that. But maybe it's a little closer to like esteem. And so understanding that, our demographic that we're looking for, right, is probably going to be a little bit more well off because they've handled everything else on the pyramid, right? If you're targeting somebody that has a ton of physiological needs with a product that really delivers esteem and self-actualization, you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a bad day, right? And so understanding where your customer's at, where your product's at, and really understanding where that need that you are solving versus the needs of the customer kind of mesh and come together is where you build a relationship, because that's what this is all about. It's about building relationships. It's, hey, I'm your buddy, I'm your friend, I'm here to help you, improve your health, right? Blue light blocking glasses, right? I'm here to help you earn more respect. I'm here to help you, employment, right? I'm here to help you do your job better, right? And so understanding these things can really help you as a marketer. Now, of course, you're not going to be beating these things on on their head, right? Like, oh, these blue blocking glasses are going to help you have more love and belonging. We're not doing that. You got to be a little bit more subtle than that. You got to be a marketer, right? But understanding Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and you'll notice again how this lays over the consumer-based brand equity pyramid perfectly, will just help you better understand your customers and get into their minds. And so If your product, a lot of times, for example, let's take a pair of, blue blocking glasses, right? Or sunglasses even, right? Those can fit into a bunch of different categories. They look great, right? So love and belonging and maybe esteem. I want to look really good versus the sun hurts and I need the best technology to prevent my eyes from hurting when going outside, right? So understanding the difference, because again, that's a safety need, right? It's health versus love, belonging, and esteem. And so the other thing that's also really important to understand here too is who is on crowdfunding and what is, people that back crowdfunding projects, which category do people most likely fit into? And the most successful projects, where do they fit here? I would argue my hypothesis, and we could probably do a full-on analysis of this, is that most crowdfunding projects that are successful, again, I'm talking, or widely successful, so over 6 to 7 figures, probably land in the love and belonging to esteem categories, right? It's not necessarily, a big food, water need. It's not a big safety need usually. Usually it's in an esteem or love and I think about, for example, and if it could touch all three of these, then even better. I think about, for example, a electronic bike, right? Nobody needs that. That's not going to help you with love and belonging. It's really going to be an esteem or maybe self-actualization kind of concept here. And so when you are positioning your product, you do want to make sure that you land the lower need, right, that it's providing. And if you can lift that all the way up and support a person in moving to the next layer and solving that as well, then that can create a really powerful relationship. So for example, not just, again, a pair of sunglasses, right? Let's take Tom's shoes, for example, here. And I'll talk about this again when we talk about consumer-based brand equity. That's a concept of like love, belonging, and esteem. But the real kind of thing that they're playing on, the reason why it's in Nordstrom's and all of that stuff, not at the dollar store, is because they're focusing on self-actualization. They're telling the story that if you buy this product, then you will be more self-actualized. You'll be a better version of yourself because you're helping people who don't have shoes, right? And so that is, of course, not you. Of course, you have a safety need, which is I can't walk around without shoes on, right? That's like a clothing piece. I need clothing, but that clothing is hit and then lifted. And so that's what's really important is make sure you're hitting whatever your lowest piece is, right? Tom's shoes, right? We know what they are. We know what problem they solve. And we are lifting it through storytelling, through our video, and through our campaign page. But we are starting at the bottom, at the most important need, and then moving our way up from there. And so again, we will be covering that even more when we get to consumer-based brand equity, which is this. But for now, I am going to dig into Shirt Sauna's landing page. So here it is. Everybody can see it. Very cool. And so, Jessa, you've done a fantastic job. Also, love the product. Definitely want one. Let's dig through this together. So you're hitting on. So let's first look at your headline. So the first thing that I would do when you're looking to build out a landing page is this top section. So this area right here is by far the most important part of your page, period, right? And so the fact that you've gotten your opt-in above the fold, we can see what your product is really cool. You're explaining kind of like what it is. That's awesome. So again, this kind of like above the fold section is so important. And so let's look at this. So your headline, of course, in this section is the most important part, the only collapsible multi-garment clothing steamer. So I usually like to stay away from hyperbole, but in the case where it's true, this is maybe the world's first collapsible multi-garment clothing steamer, I think is awesome. And I think instead of saying the only collapsible multi-garment clothing steamer, I think what you're trying to say, or a better way of saying that, is the world's first collapsible multi-garment clothing steamer. I think that's awesome. I would definitely test that. And then the other thing that, again, in LaunchBoom Academy, we tell our students, something that I definitely recommend is now come up with your next 3 to 5 headlines. And whatever your top performing ad headline is, make that the headline on this page and see how that affects your conversion rate. And this actually reminds me, I'm going to take a quick step back. Something that's really important to note here, guys, is I'm giving feedback, but my philosophy is test everything. So if you disagree with me, if you think that I'm, giving bad information, or maybe you think that there could be something that is even better, awesome. Please, thank you. That's how great ideas happen. Right? I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the end-all be-all of landing page design. My team, our clients, all that stuff are constantly surprising me with new, incredible, innovative ideas. And so are our students at LaunchBoom Academy. And so the important thing here is take everything that I'm saying, not as like, I'm going to do this, but either again, with a grain of salt, like, oh, that's a really good idea, I'm going to do that. That is better than what I have now. And here, I'll give you guys, I'm also going to give you guys the link so you guys can follow along with me and look at it on your phone. If you guys have any other comments or stuff for Jessa, you can. So you can share it in chat if you have feedback for her. And so again, with everything that I'm saying, take it with a grain of salt and add it maybe to your hypothesis, right? So like maybe your next test. So, but anyways, let's get into this. So the only collapsible multi-garment clothing steamer, I think that's awesome. So I think you're missing out. There's a lot of white space here, and I think you're really missing, and again, I'm gonna look at this in mobile as well. Let's do that. So I can squeeze you real quick. So I don't have my phone with me. What's the inspect page? F11, no, F12, inspect, there we go. Let me see if I can see you on a phone. There we go. So, okay, so this is it on a phone. By the way, if you don't know what I just did, I hit F12, and then if you hit this button, you can see it on a different device, which is cool. So it is responsive. I would first and foremost make sure that this looks good on a phone. That's by like 80% of your traffic is going to be mobile. So like double check everything here. So first, let's talk about this top section because it's the most important. I need to make it big so that I can see better. So I really do think this is great. You're showing the product. Again, the only collapsible multi-garments clothing steamer. I give you feedback on that. I think you're missing out on a really great. I really do think that this is a really great opportunity here to add a little bit more text, maybe to show some great features. So for example, I think a lot of like these pieces of content, steams up to 5 garments at a time, collapses for easy storage, heats quickly with multiple setting options, right? What are the kind of like judgments and experiences that people are going to have? What are the features that people are looking for when it comes to a steamer, right? How quick, that's a great question, is how quickly can this steam my clothes, right? Steam your clothes in, half the time, a third of the time, a fourth of the time, right? I just got married, and so I just did a ton of steaming things. And it took me a very long time. I wish I had one of these. And so making sure that your key points or your key features are listed here. You have a great opportunity to add in either some bullet points or a nice little paragraph that digs into explaining what this product is, right? Because this is a little scarce on the information up here. So let's add in a little bit of information. And then, of course, having your call to action, right? Get our exclusive VIP pricing information before we launch, and we launch our crowdfunding campaign. So you're saying get our exclusive VIP pricing information. What you're trying to say here is get the, get the best price, right? Or become a VIP, join our community to get VIP pricing, right? That's kind of what you're looking for here. And I understand there are kind of 2 layers here, right? Because we're going to put in our email address and then we're going to put in a reservation. But I would say like join our community to get the best discount, right? That's what you're really trying to say here. Don't overcomplicate it, because even if they don't take the dollar reservation, which we're going to get to in a second, just by being a part of this list, they're going to get notified the first day and still get a better discount than everybody else. So I would change this copy on this CTA is a little wonky, and I would refocus that. Now let's focus on this image here. I love this. I think showing the product is awesome, but this is way more informative. And it's showing me exactly what it is. I like the fact that they're here, but maybe if, like, again, this might be a big ask, is if you were able to capture a GIF and make this a video that's literally going from this, collapsing from this to this, that might be really awesome. The other thing that I'm not seeing right at the top here, and I did see it on your other landing page that you were showing us, is I'm not seeing the actual effectiveness. Is how effective is this at steaming? And I guess you've got it here in this slider. Okay, this slider does not work well. Maybe it looks better on mobile, but I would not. I don't like sliders. Just a note, I don't like them. I don't think they're effective. I love this 1 minute in shirt sauna, right? Like 1 minute in shirt sauna. Like this kind of content is amazing, and I would put that like right under the fold, or separate your different sections with a different example each time. I think there's a lot of really fun stuff that you can do there. Why shirt sauna is easier than ironing. Again, I like this, but again, this is like, again, you got a lot of white space. You're not using your space well. Let's add more bullet points here. Let's identify like what makes this special, right? What are the other features? And it's interesting because you kind of got these two sections, this one and this one, are almost kind of like repeat themselves. And so what I would recommend doing is delete this section altogether, and instead take these bullets and point them here. What you're trying to do, I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to do what we call status quo, which is a before and after, right? What is life like before shirt sauna, and what is it like now, right? And so being able to, that can be, you can choose, this is like a tool that you can use. You can choose to either just talk about your own product, not talk about the status quo, which is life before your product, or you can take this as an opportunity to say, here's life without your product. What would you do if you didn't have shirt sauna? You would iron, you maybe do one of three things. You'd iron, you'd use a steamer, or you'd or number three, you would maybe hang it up in your shower, right? Like that's a big thing that I do. It's like I'll hang up my shirt in the shower, but it never works. It does maybe a little bit, but it is not effective. And so hitting those things is like, here's what life is like pre-shirt sauna. Here's what life is like now. Shirt sauna is faster, it's more effective, and it's and it stores great. Right? Like what are the three kind of like points of difference and points of parity when it comes to the other products? And again, these like 1 minute in shirt saunas are so important. Don't hide them in a slider. I love the quotes. I think quotes and social proof is important. We're going to be talking about that here in just a second. And then I guess here, this is from your Instagram account. If I click on this, what happens? Okay, so it's showing me these kind of like ugly text things. Let's not do that. I like seeing somebody, especially James, because he's beautiful inside and out. Showing somebody using it, which I really like. I like seeing it fit in a bunch of different places, which I think is super cool, and how beautiful that is. Let's see it like going under a bed, or all that kind of stuff. Maybe again showing like having that be like a section, like what are the key features, what makes this awesome, and then make sure each section has its own section, right? And so if I go through and I read your headlines, right, shirt sauna is easier than ironing, right? Shirt sauna is made to fit into your lifestyle, right? So that like it's what you're trying to say here is it doesn't fit into your lifestyle, it fits anywhere. Shirt sauna is compact, right? So or super, like even just say super compact, right? And having like a smaller section here. And then just nailing each of those different pieces. But that's all the time we have for today. I know Jessa, love having you in LaunchBoom Academy, and so I will see you on office hours on Wednesday, and so we can dig in more. But hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you got some really cool stuff to take away and improve this page and get some ads rocking and rolling. Overall, it's very sparse. I think you can really get into like the meat and potatoes of your messaging and make sure that that's on the page, but you're so close. I think you've got a great product, and I think if you can just make sure that you, again, land those meat and potatoes, and we'll go over this again in office hours on Wednesday, you're going to do fantastic. I think this product is a huge win. And assuming you're not having some serious pricing issues or something like that, I think you're going to have a very, very successful campaign. Awesome. So let's get into my favorite tool ever, which I can totally blast through in 7 minutes. I wanted to make sure you had a couple extra minutes there, Jessa, to make sure I landed that feedback. This is my favorite tool of all time, period. If you work at LaunchBoom, and have been part of LaunchBoom for a long time, you've probably, like, at some point in time had me sit down with you at a coffee shop and draw this out and like literally walk you through this entire thing. If you're newer in the LaunchBoom team, you haven't had that pleasure yet, but I'm sure you've seen this. I love this tool so much. So this is consumer-based brand equity. So I asked you a question at the beginning. You don't own your brand. Who does, right? If you don't own your brand, who owns your brand? The answer, your consumers. So your consumers own your brand, not you, your brand equity, right? So what is consumer-based brand equity? So think equity, think real estate, right? Consumer-based, right? We can break this down. Consumer-based, so consumer, their head, equity, real estate, right? Your brand. So what is almost the mental real estate that your brand takes up in the minds of your consumer? That's what this tool will show you and will help you both plan and analyze. And so anybody looking to launch a product, this is such an incredibly powerful tool. Maybe next week I'll talk about points of difference and point of parity. That's my other really big favorite one, but we'll talk about that one maybe next week. But let's dig into this. So if we look at this, and again, we can compare this to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It fits pretty well, and we'll understand why. So at the bottom of the pyramid, we have brand salience. So this is again how you construct a brand. If I told you, okay, I want to buy a cell phone, right? What brands come to mind, right? You got Samsung, you got Apple, maybe Nokia, maybe, a couple other things, right? But if I have, Orange, the brand, if that has zero brand salience, if it's not even an option, then you don't exist in the minds of your customer. And so that's important. So salience is people knowing that you exist and people understand what you do. And so on top of that, right, if I said like, okay, cool, I need a cell phone, McDonald's is not going to come to mind, right? Because McDonald's does not make a cell phone. So salience is both knowing that you exist and understanding what problem you solve. Because when somebody goes to buy a product, right, or is presented with an ad or something like that, they're looking for that salience. So if we just look at our previous example here of Shirt Sauna, that brand name is very salient. So you'll hear me say things like that all the time. So if instead Jessa called it the Jessa machine, right? What the heck is that? What is a Jessa machine? I don't know what a Jessa machine is. That does not convey a lot of brand salience. But instead, she called it the Shirt Sauna, which is a brilliant name because you think, right, you think of, sauna, which is like hot or heat, and shirts, are traditionally very wrinkled and need to be ironed. So Shirt Sauna, great brand name, incredibly salient. So even just from the name, I can kind of get an understanding of what this product is and what does it do. And it's so funny that I'm spending so much time on salience because this is by far most crowdfunding campaigns start on this level, is salience. And people have no idea what you do or understand what you do or what problem you solve. And so I would encourage you guys to like really, really double down and think about that because I can't tell you how many clients I've seen or worked with or things that have failed TestBoom because they or tried to launch on their own and didn't have success because they didn't really understand their brand salience. They didn't really understand this whole concept of consumer-based brand equity. So make sure that you understand the true problem, most important problem that you solve, and make sure that the choices that you're making, of course, support brand salience, like your name. Or the name of the product. So moving up the pyramid, we have performance and imagery. So what performance is what are the key features? Again, we're going to talk about points of parity and points of difference probably next week. It's a fantastic tool, and I'd love to talk to you guys about that. But performance is literally your features, your price, your durability. How well do you solve the problem that you are saying you're going to solve, right? So performance, if we compare like a Samsung phone to an iPhone, right? We're looking at, camera quality, the specs, right? All of that stuff, right? Performance, we're not comparing the brands, we're not comparing the feelings. We're going to get to that in a second. So that's performance. Imagery is simply what images or associations does this product evoke? So if I were to say Samsung versus iPhone, right? Those images that come to mind are very different. PC versus Mac, right? Those images are very different, and their brand associations, their use cases. And so again, looking at, for example, Jessa's landing page, these imagery concepts of like, okay, when am I going to appreciate this product the most, and what are the different moments, or where do I need to see this product living? Right. So for example, the imagery of seeing it fit under a bed or in a closet versus imagery of a shirt that is really wrinkled versus a shirt that isn't, right? Like somebody wearing really wrinkly clothes versus somebody wearing not wrinkly clothes, right? So all of that stuff is really, really, really cool and really important. Moving up, we now have judgments and feelings. So judgments are what do people say about you? So think Yelp reviews, think, what are people going to be commenting about? What are they going to be saying about your product? And you have the opportunity to impact this. What do you want people to say about your product? Man, this is so well built. Man, this works so fast. This is incredible. So we're now evaluating the tier below. So our judgments are evaluating our performance. Similarly, our feelings are being evoked by our imagery. And so again, our imagery is evoking a certain set of feelings. How do you want to make people feel? Clean, right? So talking about, Andrew, your company, making sure that all of your choices evoke that feeling of clean, right? Shirt Sauna, pretty similar, right? You can't have a wrinkly landing page. And so you have those judgments and feelings, and all of this kind of comes together to create your brand resonance. And so again, if we go back and we look at that self-actualization, it meshes perfectly, right? Love and belonging meshes perfectly with judgments and feelings, right? We're moving into the community, and resonance or brand resonance is the intense active loyalty is, I am a better gamer because I have Razer products, right? I'm a better mom because I use Tide, whatever, right? Resonance is an intense active loyalty between a brand and a consumer. This is like when we think about like building your brand, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's all of these things. You can't just have brand resonance, right? We're building this entire pyramid, but a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of CEOs, this is the thing that they like really look at as like, do I have brand resonance, right? Do I have an intense active loyalty with my consumers? And by far, this, if you can have that, if you do that, this is going to be your biggest moat ever, right? Because you cannot compete in relationships. If you have a better relationships with somebody, they're not going to leave you based on performance of your product because they love you, they care about you. They're going to make it'd be irrational of them not to buy the cheaper, not to buy the more effective product, but they're going to make an irrational choice because it's not about logic anymore. It's about relationship. And so that's the ultimate goal, is to help people identify how you are supporting them and achieving their goals, right? Help them self-actualize, because we live in a really interesting time. And I really need to write a book on this. I believe that we live in a time of romantic consumerism where people are influenced and, are created by the the products and the services and the tools that they surround themselves with. So I think that is really, really important. And I see some great questions coming up here, and I'll get to those at the end when we get to the Q&A section. But let's get into the next, what's next. So I know that was a lot of information. If you want to dig more into consumer-based brand equity, I would recommend checking out Joe has a fantastic free training, if you haven't seen it already, where he digs into this a little bit. And of course, being a part of LaunchBoom Academy, there's a whole 20-minute workshop on consumer-based brand equity, which I love. But let's keep going. So next up, we have another landing page review here. So this is Zenger. I'm going to take a quick peek on the mobile version here. Okay, so this looks a lot better. The mobile version, it's still pretty rough. But let's go back just so it's easier for everybody to see here. So a couple things. So one, I like that you're using the your brand coloring, which is this almost Kickstarter green, right, which aligns well with everything. And so I think the first thing that kind of stands out to me is this is really low quality. So I see this isn't web text. This is this whole section up here is an image. And so making sure that you have just clean assets is really important. And I think a lot of this stuff is very not clean. Now, again, sometimes ugly does really, really, really well. So this is, again, going back to what I said before about test it. I can't tell you how many times I had sinfully ugly landing pages and it just destroyed pretty ones. But I would say let's test it here and let's really see what we can do to clean this up. Because you're also having two things happen here. You've also got this image behind, which I think is this the, nope, that's not the product. The product is probably hiding behind there. So you got this image in the background and then this image in the foreground, which are kind of competing with one another. So it's very messy. This is I would say this landing page, especially above the fold, is very messy. I would consider cleaning that up big time. Some other things that are really cool is you're focusing on a very tech heavy product here, which I love. I love your products, by the way. Good stuff. Love the super tank. And you have a great opportunity. I've found that including bullet pointing out key features is one of the best pieces of ad copy and one of the best tools that you can use on your landing page. And so again, you're using all of the spaces, sign up now for this early bird price. But the problem is that you're talking to people about your price before people even truly understand what your product is. Now, I'm not necessarily opposed to sharing price with people on your landing page. You can do that, you can test it, but traditionally what I've found is instead focusing on, let me help you build this pyramid first, right? Let me help you build the consumer-based brand equity. Once people understand, once you understand how how this product works, why it's awesome, all that other stuff, then let's talk price, right? Because even looking at this, okay, $459, I have nothing to base that on. Is that really expensive? Is that not expensive? I mean, the world's lightest power station, okay, awesome. What am I comparing this to? What are the features that it has? It's just getting me to ask a lot of questions, which can be a good thing, but it can also be a really bad thing. And so what I would recommend doing is push this lower in the fold, or below the fold, push the price down. If you want to include price somewhere on the page, awesome, but instead include the price on your reservation page versus including it here so early. And instead use this space to really land a lot of these really, really cool features, right? Because what are the questions? What are the biggest questions that people are going to ask? I'm sure they're going to ask how much space does it hold, right? What can it charge? What are some features? How heavy is it? And so being able to bring some of these key features, right? Meet the super base 500, right? If this was your, right, this whole thing up here, took this, get rid of it down here, bring it up here instead with this, these headlines, right? That could be awesome. I think that would be really, really cool. And then this only shipped to mainland United States and America and Canada. I think this is cool, but I wouldn't include this because if you're running ads, you're only going to be running ads to the United States and Canada. So nobody who's not in these places are going to see your ads. So you don't need this. B, it's just more useless information. So, yeah, I like this, and I like you sign up for a special gift and an early bird discount. I think that's awesome. Maybe say a super early bird discount, because it's usually what they're called, is super early birds versus early birds. So maybe include that. And I do like showing like what you're going to get, right? Get a free carrying bag, which I think is cool. And this is that's a nice carrying bag. Maybe increase that MSRP a little bit more. But that's a beautiful, beautiful bag. And so I like that. And so what you're doing here too is you're testing. This is what's called a different lead offer, right? So some people can, like, for example, you could do customization, personalization, discounting, free product. Those are all fantastic lead offers. And I like the fact that you've layered a free product, a gift, with an early bird discount. So you got two different kind of like, you got two real lead offers here, right? Get a discount and get a free carry-on bag, which is awesome, for $1, which is awesome. And so I think that that's really, really cool. And you're going to get that when they reserve. And so again, you're having these conversations with people before they've even like learned about your product. And so like one thing at a time, right? Like layer them together. Like maybe just say like sign up for a special gift and early bird discount, or sign up for access to a special gift and an early bird discount, right? And don't necessarily, and maybe talk about this, but like push it down. People need to learn about your product. And then once people have signed up, then show them like, hey, put in $1 reservation. You know what you're getting? You're getting a $25 bag for free, for $1. You're going to get a $25 bag for $1, or a $35 or $45 bag for $1, and you're getting our best pricing ever. Great deal. Amazing. And then put that on your reservation page. So now getting into like the meat and potatoes, like again, small but mighty, lightest, most compact power station ever, meet Super Base 500. I love this stuff. I think you share the power, showing it in the world, right? You got it. It's very aspirational. You're camping. I love that. Showing you like where you're going to use it, showing these different environments is so important. All of these different features is awesome. Again, you could potentially pull this right all the way to the top and put that right here, or include it as part of this section. So again, I think that this is very strong. Now the next part of the page that I think is a little, I already signed up. Okay, well, sorry. I know that on the next page you have people sign up, and I'll post a link here so that anybody who wants to kind of like follow along can. Here, if you guys want to check it out, there's a link. I do think that the next piece of your process is a little wonky. Go look at some of LaunchBoom's, or get on the phone with me or anybody on our team, and we can walk you through one of our reservation funnels. You go here, then you send people to like the Facebook group and reservation funnel, and then they either go to the group and then they'll never come back and put in a $1 reservation, or they'll click the $1 reservation and not necessarily go to the group. I would recommend going directly from here to the reservation page, present them with this awesome lead offer, which I think is amazing. I love including a free gift. I don't see a lot of people doing it, and I would love for more people to do that because it's great value. And then a reservation page, go through the reservation funnel, and then get your VIPs into your Facebook group. That's what I would recommend. And then when your campaign is over, or via email, get your non-VIPs, right? Everybody's just putting your email address, get them in another way. But that is what I would recommend doing. But great start. And I love the use of chat too. I also don't see this very often. Chat is another really, really powerful tool. A lot of people can have a lot of questions, and so getting them in that way, I think, is super cool. We've used chat for a couple different things, but we haven't fully tested it on our clients' landing pages. Try it. The only kind of the the tough part, and I see people are asking me questions. Questions will be answered very shortly. We're about to get into the Q&A section, so don't worry. But I haven't really tested this with our clients and would love to see more testing behind that. Cool. So it is now time for the time that you've been waiting for, is the Q&A and the giveaway. So if you want for a chance to win the giveaway, join the crowdfunded community on Facebook. Just again, go to Facebook, type in crowdfunded community. It's the one with the logo that looks very similar to LaunchBoom's, and you're going to be answering a question. So for everybody who's in Academy, I'm sorry, this is probably not going to be good for you. But what we're going to be giving away is a copy of all of our VIP recordings from the Crowdfunded Summit. So if you are already a VIP of that, or for example, if you are in LaunchBoom Academy, then you already have it. So not going to be something that you're going to be winning today because you already have it. But for somebody who is not in LaunchBoom Academy and is not a VIP that wants access to our Crowdfunded Summit 2020 recordings, we're talking like 20 plus hours of way more than that, like 40 hours of content, tons of really great stuff. Just what I'd like you to do is email me. So tom@launchboom.com. So so again, email me, tom@launchboom.com, and I want you to just say that I want to win. So that's that, and then send me a link to what your or tell me a little bit about your product. So that's it. So yeah, sorry, Nanya, you already won it. But cool. Let's get into some Q&A here. Let's go through this. So somebody asked, agreed, but a lot of these companies use kitschy names like Hulu, Zappos, or Zully. So Zappos, can anybody tell me why Zappos is salient? Does anybody here speak Spanish or other Latin languages? Well, Zappos is similar to, that is not it, Peter. Here, I'll get you guys a link. Sorry. Here is a link. It's facebook.com/groups/crowdfunded community. So Zapatos, exactly. So Zapatos actually means shoes in Spanish. Pardon my pronunciation. So it is salient. It means shoes. It's a shoe store. And so a lot of people, yes, use like a lot of these but again, Shopify, very salient. Netflix, very salient. Apple, not salient at all. Great, awesome. It doesn't always apply, but it's a lot harder to build up a brand without a salient name, right? So again, yeah, it's shoes. So that is something that's something to note. Next is everyone using ClickFunnels platform for the landing pages? No, I don't think everybody is. Other people are using different things. For example, LaunchBoom, we use WordPress. But a lot of people, again, we recommend ClickFunnels because it's really easy. It could be a little expensive for some people. I know some people use Squarespace, Wix, that kind of stuff, but my recommendation would be ClickFunnels and or WordPress, depending on your level of technical expertise. For all of our Academy students, we are absolutely working on something exciting to support you guys with your landing pages, but I can't tell you about it yet. Maybe we'll talk about it on office hours on Wednesday. Next question, is it a good idea to build the VIP group on the landing page or owned custom domain, or is it better to host VIP group on Facebook? So a couple things. So you're sending traffic to a landing page, collecting emails, and getting people to put in a $1 reservation, and now they're a VIP. Now what do you do with them? So recommendation is get them into Facebook or you could, for example, put them into Discord, right? Or into Slack. You can put them in a bunch of different places. But the reason why I like Facebook so much is the notifications. It's where everybody's at. People are more familiar with Facebook than they are with like Discord or Slack or Telegram or something like that. I mean, if you're launching a cryptocurrency, go do Telegram or Discord or something like that. But if not, usually Facebook groups are the best way to go because people are really familiar with the platform. And so what you're trying to do here is you're touching people in multiple ways. So you've got their email address. If you wanted to get really ninja, go get their phone number and text everybody. And you've also got like a Facebook event, and then you've got the Facebook group. And so what's happening is when you launch, right, not everybody checks their email. Not everybody goes on Facebook. Not everybody checks their phone. Hitting people from multiple sides will ensure more of your VIP list converts. And so that's why we're using a Facebook group. It's a great place to get that interaction and get that engagement, as well as an opportunity to just touch them more. And again, build the brand, build the relationship, and notify them better about launch. Great question. Okay, so cool question here. It's a good idea to develop a landing page for your product and then also advertise on the crowdfunding pages. So Dakota, welcome to the community. Super excited to teach you about this stuff. So what I recommend doing is start by, because we're talking about the difference between pre-launch and then launch. So with your pre-launch, those landing pages that you saw, like Shirt Sauna and Zenger, they're doing what's called a pre-launch. So they're collecting all of this information about this product before, about their community. They're collecting all these email addresses so that when they launch on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, they can email everybody and get, raise hundreds of thousands of dollars in the first 10 minutes. That's what they're trying to do. Is so a lot of, like, when it comes to crowdfunding, the biggest misconception, the number one thing that people do wrong is they'll immediately just launch. They'll just go on Kickstarter, Indiegogo. They won't do a pre-launch, and they'll just have a really tough time seeing success. And I can't tell you how many poor people I've seen do that. Instead, make sure that you're going to have a successful campaign by going ahead and doing a pre-launch, collecting all these emails. Again, if you want to make sure that your pre-launch is really, really well qualified, then you're doing a reservation funnel, which is something that you've heard us talk about. And then, because reservations are about 30 times more likely to purchase than non-reservations. So you, again, want people to convert. And then once you go live, now you're taking all of that traffic and you're moving them to your crowdfunding page. And so that's what you're trying to do. If you'd like to see a really great free training on this, here, Joe's got one. I'm posting a link below. Hopefully that you can find it and see it. It's just go.launchboom.com/free-training, and you'll be able to. Here, I'll show the link here. Here it is. So if you can't see it in chat, there's a link. Go here, and you'll be able to watch a really great free training to talk about a reservation funnel and learn all the cool stuff that a lot of people here, like you saw Jessa, are putting into action. More questions, you guys. I'm okay going a little over if you guys have more questions. Okay, so quality versus quantity aside, are more ad options for Facebook better, or is this not advised and can drive up budgets quickly? So yeah, so more is not always better. It's about being intentional with your testing. And so and you're also trying to, like, start with the best things first. So the first ads that you run should be what you think are your best 3 ads. Or again, maybe you're testing for a specific variable, so maybe your top 3 images, right? With your best of the best copy. Because again, we're testing imagery, then we're testing copy. And so, but the copy that you're choosing shouldn't just be throwaway, right? You're always trying to choose the best of the best. You're using your marketing expertise, your team. Maybe, again, I know you're in Academy. You can ask Academy, be like, hey guys, what do you think these are my copy choices? What do you think is the best headline? What do you think is the best text copy? What do you think is the best image? Here are my top 5 images. What are your top 3? Right? Go get feedback on that so that when you are running your first ads, you're making the best choices, which is really important because you don't have a lot of budget. And so because you really only want to be putting 3, max maybe 5 is really pushing it. ads per ad set, and each ad set you're launching with like $10 a day. And so again, yes, you can run more, but it's just going to take a lot longer for Facebook to spend enough information on each of those ads to get you any sort of statistically significant amount of data for you to make a decision, right? Because if you're spreading $10 a day over 10 ads, that's only $1 per day per ad. That's like nothing. You're not going to get any information or any data. It's going to take you 10 days, right, to get enough information, or 5 days to get you any sort of information on any of those, right? And so you want to be able to move quickly, right? And so spending maybe more on less ads to be able to get that data quick, to be able to iterate, is definitely a great way to go. So you do want quality over quantity for your testing process. And again, by quality here, we're talking about like using past experience, like looking at other similar campaigns, all of that kind of fun stuff to identify kind of what's going to be the best of the best. Somebody was asking, does anybody use multiple levels of reservations, $1, $5? So we don't. I think that can add layers of complexity and confusion when you really just want to like really guide a specific action. And so driving people to go from like, okay, dollar reservation, Facebook page, now go check your email, all of that kind of stuff, is going to be important. And so that being said, we have done alternatives to dollar reservations. So for example, if you've got a really expensive product, we've actually done $50, like on like a $2,000 product or something like that. We've actually done like $50 reservations. We've also done $5 reservations and things like that. That can help you cover your ad spend. Something worth testing, you will see a drop off and your lead offer better be really good, right? So for example, Zenger, who's giving you a free bag, right, could, I think, really get away with a $5 reservation if they wanted to, especially since it's about a tenth the price of their product, which is about $500. But that is something that I would test and know that the more expensive the reservation, more expensive that list will be. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be more qualified. So something to definitely test and take into consideration. Other questions: are people finding products to sell/fund, or only products they develop or invent? I see both a lot. We see it all the time. Both, people collaborating with other people who have really cool ideas or engineers. There's a lot of factories in China, for example. I've been over there, and a lot of times the owners of these factories have no idea how to market a product, but they absolutely know how to create really cool, inventive products. And so a lot of times, I know when I was over there, some of my friends that went over there to launch their own products, they were going to these manufacturing owners and they were finding out kind of like, okay, well, what have you been working on? What are some cool technologies you've developed? And are helping that manufacturer. That, again, the manufacturer will manufacture the product, and then the marketer will then basically like own the rights to that product and distribute it to the world. And so I do see that. But I'd say most of the campaigns we test, boom, and work with are invented. Again, a great example would be like the coolest coffee table that just raised 200,000. Nathan literally drew it on a napkin and went from, napkin drawing to, six-figure crowdfunding campaign in 90 days, which was awesome. How challenging is it to launch a product over $1,000? Not as challenging as you'd think. Some of our biggest campaigns, so for example, Rocket e-bikes, Vava raised $2 million. That higher price point can, especially with the reservation funnel, can really do well. If you've got a product that is awesome, then it actually could do really, really well. And so I wouldn't shy away from $1,000 products or anything like that. It does a lot better on crowdfunding a lot of times I've seen than maybe ecom or some other places. People on Kickstarter and Indiegogo are not shy about backing $3,000 e-bikes all day. So definitely go for it. So have you ever done a bundles launch where you're offering different price point crowdfunding options for different bundles? Yes, you do want to. You do really want to limit the amount of confusion, so the amount of like options, if at all possible. You could also do this with, for example, Indiegogo, and I believe Kickstarter's now been messing or playing with add-ons, the ability to do different like add-ons and things like that. And so my recommendation would be is keep it simple and then use that like add-on functionality or use your post campaign to upsell more stuff. It's basically like a build your own bundle kind of concept. And you of course can use secret perks on Indiegogo to have different like price points or discounts. Or even serve different bundles to different communities. So for example, if you have like a community of like, I don't know, fitness people that you want to like serve a specific fitness bundle to, you could do that with secret perks on Indiegogo, which is really fun, but very complicated, probably not the best use of time, but you could do it. Okay, is it a good idea to run ads only for a day while testing and spend only $5 on it to quickly reach a conclusion about it? So advertising is a deep, dark black hole that I could talk about for an entire like 3-hour or 12-hour masterclass. And so you want to put anywhere from like $5 to $10 per ad. That's your again, talking statistics significant is not true. It's not. It's just kind of like where we've seen you could kind of start gathering information is at $5 to $10 of spend. And in terms of running it for a day or 2 or 3 days, usually you want to let it run for maybe 24 to 48 hours, especially right when you start your ad account, or if it's your first ad set that you're running, maybe let it run for 24, 48, 72 hours, just so that Facebook's algorithm can kind of stabilize and level out. But again, yes, you're moving quickly to get a conclusion on kind of what's happening. But again, you're also trying to be intentional with the choices that you're making. So you're not just trying to burn through ads. You're trying to get the more data, the more money you can put behind an ad, the more statistically significant, I'd say that 10 times, your ads will be, right? Or your results will be. And so that's kind of like you're playing that kind of like that balance between how much do I want to spend to get data versus how quickly can I iterate on my ads. And so really what you should be doing is iterating on your ads maybe 2 times a week, and you're optimizing from there. And so if you're in LaunchBoom Academy, we've got a really great section that digs into all of the how to optimize, all of that fun stuff. We've got a great section. I redid the entire thing this summer so that it was super relevant. And so that would be where I would go is in LaunchBoom Academy, go rewatch. Again, I don't know if you're in LaunchBoom Academy. If you want to be, let me know. Definitely hop on a call, but that advertising section I think is pretty solid. Awesome, guys. Well, that is all the time I have for today, but it was fantastic having you on here. Please don't forget to give this a big old like. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, share this with the world. If you're in the Facebook group, share the Facebook group with the world. Let's get this out there. Let's support more entrepreneurs. And again, huge shout out to everybody in the crowdfunded community that has been just so awesome and giving each other feedback. Akil, seeing your kind of analyses, that's been awesome. Seeing everybody just support one another, that's what really brings joy to my heart. I love seeing. So guys, keep doing it. And I'll leave you guys with one last thing is you see me wearing a really cool shirt here, Crowdfunded Summit. Mark your calendars. You guys, if for people who stayed to the very end, mark your calendars. There is a rumor that the Crowdfunded Summit 2021 may be happening on March 10th and 11th. I'm not sure, can't confirm yet. I don't see a landing page up yet, but that would be a good time to maybe save the date or mark your calendar if you were thinking about wanting to attend the world's biggest, most awesome crowdfunding summit known to mankind. But stay tuned. Landing pages and everything will be coming soon. So again, glad you guys got some really, really great feedback. Thank you. Yeah, LaunchBoom Academy rocks. Glad you guys are getting some really great value out of this. And so stoked for everybody who's been on, and for all the love and support. And I will see you all. If you're in Academy, I'll see you guys at office hours tomorrow. And if not, so stoked to see you guys in the next LaunchBoom Live. Take care, everyone.